Neville Goddard, Seedtime and Harvest, Chapter 3, The Gift of Faith. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offerings, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. Genesis 4, 4 and 5. If we search the scriptures, we will become aware of a far deeper meaning in the above quotation than that which a literal reading would give us. The Lord is none other than your own consciousness. Say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Exodus 3:14. I am is the self-definition of the Lord. Cain and Abel, as the grandchildren of the Lord, can only be personifications of two distinct functions of your own consciousness. The author is really concerned to show the two contrary states of the human soul, and he has used two brothers to show these states. The two brothers represent two distinct outlooks on the world, possessed by everyone. One is the limited perception of the senses, and the other is an imaginative view of the world. One is a limited perception of the senses, and the other is an imaginative view of the world. Sounds familiar, huh? Cain, the first view, is a passive surrender to appearances and an acceptance of life on the basis of the world without, out there. A view which inevitably leads to unsatisfied longing or to contentment with disillusion. Abel, the second view, is a vision of fulfilled desire, lifting man above the evidence of the senses so that to that state of relief where he no longer pines with desire. Ignorance of the second view is a soul on fire. Knowledge of the second view is the wing whereby it flies to the heaven of fulfilled desire. Come eat my bread and drink of the wine that I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live. Proverbs 9:56. Wow. In the epistle to the Hebrews, the writer tells us that Abel's offering was faith and states the author, without faith, it is impossible to please him. Hebrews 11:6. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for the evidence of things not seen. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Hebrews 11:1 and 3. Cain offers the evidence of the senses, which consciousness, the Lord, rejects, because acceptance of this gift as a mold of the future would mean the fixation and perpetuation of the present state forever. The sick would be sick, the poor would be poor, the thief would be a thief, the murderer a murderer, and so on, without hope of redemption. The Lord, or consciousness, has no respect for such passive use of imagination, which is the gift of Cain. He delights in the gift of Abel, the active, voluntary, loving exercise of the imagination on behalf of man for himself and others. Let the weak man say, I am strong. Joel 3:10. Remember, God, all that is, I am, right here, and all of us are offshoots of that I am. Cain brings his view of his limited senses right here, the conscious of the objectified self. Abel, the desire in here, doesn't have limitations. In fact, sees without a limitation, sees what's potentially possible. The limitation of Cain, he uses what's in the outer world to make the definition for him, to then bring his new objectification with its limitations. Poor man is poor, a murderer is a murderer. All these things come to their own dead ends because Cain brings the limitation of what he sees in the world and what his senses show him here. Abel is the infinite potential to consistently ascend. Let man disregard appearances and declare himself to be the man he wants to be. Let him imagine beauty where his senses reveal ashes, joy where they testify to mourning, riches where they bear witness to poverty. Only by such active, voluntary use of imagination can man be lifted up and Eden restored. The ideal is always waiting to be incarnated. But unless we ourselves offer the ideal to the Lord, our consciousness, by assuming that we are already that which we seek to embody, it is incapable of birth. Probably the most important sentence in quite a while. Listen to this sentence, man. Listen to it. The ideal is always waiting to be incarnated. But unless we ourselves offer the ideal to the Lord, bring it into our imagination, our consciousness, by assuming that we are already that which we seek to embody, it is incapable of birth. The Lord needs his daily lamb of faith to mold the world in harmony with our dreams. The Lord needs his daily lamb of faith. That's what you imagine as your desire, your aim, your goal, what it is you see as the end result. The Lord needs his daily lamb of faith to mold the world in harmony with our dreams. By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. Hebrews 11:4. Faith sacrifices the apparent fact for the unapparent truth. Faith holds fast to the fundamental truth that through the medium of an assumption, invisible states become visible facts. Very important sentences here. Faith sacrifices the apparent fact for the unapparent truth. Faith holds fast to the fundamental truth that through the medium of an assumption, invisible states become visible facts. Invisible states become visible facts. For what is faith unless it is to believe what you do not see? St. Augustine. Just recently, I had the opportunity to observe the wonderful results of one who had the faith to believe what she did not see. A young woman asked me to meet her sister and her 3-year-old nephew. He was a fine, healthy lad with clear blue eyes and an exceptionally fine, unblemished skin. Then she told me her story. At birth, the boy was perfect in every way save for a large, ugly birthmark covering one side of his face. Their doctor advised them that nothing could be done about this type of scar. Visits to many specialists only confirmed his statement. Hearing the verdict, the aunt set herself the task of proving her faith. That an assumption, though denied by the evidence of the senses, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Every time she thought of the baby, which was often, she saw in her imagination an 8-month-old baby with a perfect face, without any trace of a scar. This was not easy, but she knew that in this case, that was the gift of Abel which pleased God. She persisted in her faith. She believed was not there to be seen. She believed what was not there to be seen. She believed what was not there to be seen. The result was that she visited her sister on the child's 8-month birthday and found him to have a perfect, unblemished skin with no trace of a birthmark ever having been present. Luck, coincidence, shouts Cain. No, Abel knows that these are names given by those who have faith to the works of faith. Abel knows that these are the names given by those who have no faith to the works of faith. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. When reason and the facts of life oppose the idea you desire to realize, and you accept the evidence of your senses and the dictates of reason as the truth, you have brought the Lord, your consciousness, the gift of Cain. It is obvious that such offerings do not please him. Life on earth is a training ground for image making. If you use only the molds which your senses dictate, there will be no change in your life. You are here to live the more abundant life. So you must use the invisible molds of imagination and make results and accomplishments the crucial test of your power to create. Only as you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and continue therein are you offering the gift that pleases. Life on earth is a training ground for image making. If you use only the molds which your senses dictate, meaning what you see, there will be no change in your life. You are here to live the more abundant life. You are here to live the more abundant life. Period. So you must use the invisible molds of imagination and make results and accomplishments the crucial test of your power to create. Only as you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and continue therein are you offering the gift that pleases. Man, oh man, can I just have this already done? If it wasn't difficult to wield this and just get it done, if it wasn't difficult to get through this process, would it be worth it? Ask yourself that. When Abel's gift is my attire, then I'll realize my great desire. The prophet Malachi complains that man has robbed God. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? It tithes and offerings. In tithes and offerings. Malachi 3:8. Facts based upon reason and the evidence of the senses, which oppose the idea-seeking expression, rob you of the belief in the reality of the invisible state. This is the invisible state, the one you're trying to get to. But faith in the evidence of things not seen, that's not seen yet. And through it, God calleth those things which be not as though they were. Romans 4:17. Call the thing not seen, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. That there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts. If I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Malachi 3:10. What a wonderful quote. Once you start down this road and you start accomplishing these feelings into reality, that quote, you're gonna really understand, pour you out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it, is exactly what you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel like there's not enough room. Because if I can literally have anything, I can focus on anything. I can focus on marriage, love, wealth, health, anything, be, have, do, anything. What do I want? What do I want to eat? Where do I want to eat it? Where in the world shall I go next? This is the story of a couple living in Sacramento, California, who refused to accept the evidence of their senses, who refused to be robbed in spite of a seeming loss. The wife had given her husband a very valuable wristwatch. The gift doubled its value because of the sentiment he attached to it. They had a little ritual with the watch. Every night as he removed the watch, he gave it to her, and she put it away in a special box in the bureau. Every morning she took the watch and gave it to him to put on. One morning the watch was missing. They both remembered playing their usual parts the night before, therefore the watch was not lost or misplaced, but stolen. Then and there they determined not to accept the fact that it was really gone. They said to each other, "This is an opportunity to practice what we believe." They decided that in their imagination, they would enact their customary ritual as though the watch were actually there. In his imagination, every night the husband took off the watch and gave it to his wife, while in her imagination she accepted the watch and carefully put it away. Every morning she removed the watch from its box and gave it to her husband, and he in turn put it on. They did this faithfully for 2 weeks. After their 14-day vigil, a man went into the one and only jewelry store in Sacramento where the watch would be recognized. As he offered a gem for appraisal, the owner of the store noticed the wristwatch he was wearing. Under the pretext of needing a closer examination of the stone, he went into an inner office and called the police. After the police arrested the man, they found in his apartment over $10,000 worth of stolen jewelry. In walking by faith, not by sight, this couple attained their desire, the watch, and also aided many others in regaining what had seemed to be lost forever. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dream and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Thoreau. Wow. What a wonderful chapter. If that doesn't give you confidence in Abel, what would? Chapter 3, the gift of faith, opening quote. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offerings, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. The Lord, imagination, had no respect to the idea of limitations here and or what the world was offering. But to Abel, the one with the vision about what he wants to be next, without looking at a finite ending of facts and figures or limitations of senses, Abel dreamed the dream, offered the infinite to the Lord. Your imagination is the Lord. Bring to the Lord Abel's infinite view of anything is mine. What do I want to experience? What do I want to be? What do I want to have? What do I want to do? What is it? Did I do my I am meditation? I am. Close the door to your closet. Ask what your desire is and start to have fun as you receive the answer. Have fun like Abel, seeing that there is no limitations. There's no limitations in the self-concept. There's no limitations that the world has. Abel, the unconscious, sees the infinite possibilities. You must be like Abel. That wristwatch testimony is amazing. Wow, okay. That was a great chapter. We'll see you in the next one.